the day the sky burned. Leah Juno was only 9 the day the sky caught fire. She sat on the cracked rooftop of her apartment in New York, swinging her legs, watching the sunset. The horizon glowed a strange violet, not the kind of soft twilight she knew, but a deep, pulsing light that made the hairs on her arms rise. Then came the rumble. Not thunder. Something heavier, hungrier. The clouds split open. A colossal black shape emerged, blotting out the sun. It wasn't just one ship. Dozens, maybe hundreds, followed, casting vast shadows over the city. People screamed below. Hollow screens flickered with emergency messages, but they were too slow. The warships descended fast, methodical. They didn't fire at first. They waited. Then the first city, Shanghai, was erased in a single flash of light. Leah's father, Dr. Samuel Juno, pulled her from the rooftop just as the blast wave hit, toppling windows and setting buildings ablaze. "Don't look back," he said, carrying her through the smoke-choked streets. "They're not here to talk." Over the next 3 days, the Varn Dominion took Earth. They didn't come to negotiate. They didn't bother to explain. The Varn were insectoid, towering, chitin-plated beings who moved like machines and spoke in clicks and hisses that translators couldn't decode. When Earth's militaries retaliated, they were destroyed in minutes. Nuclear strikes were intercepted before they launched. Satellites were shredded. Cities were leveled not to conquer, but to demonstrate absolute superiority. Leah watched her mother die during the roundup at Central Park. A protest broke out. Someone tried to fight back with a stolen pistol. The Varn guards opened fire with sonic lances. Bones shattered. Brains bled. Her mother shielded Leah and took the blast in the chest. She never got up. Leah and her father were separated 2 days later at a Varn processing site outside Denver. Men and women were divided. Children loaded into transport cubes. She never saw him again. Chained, drugged, and fitted with a neural shock collar, Leah was taken aboard a Varn cargo hauler with hundreds of other human children. Through the narrow viewing slit of her containment pod, she saw Earth shrinking into the void, wrapped in alien dreadnoughts. No one came to save them. No resistance. No heroes. Only silence. The galaxy had watched and done nothing. Earth's cries meant little to species who'd seen hundreds of worlds fall to the Varn before. Humanity, so new to the stars, was forgotten in less than a week. But in that silence, something grew. A memory. A hatred. A vow. Leah clutched her mother's old ring in her palm, hidden in the collar's lining. She pressed it to her lips. One day, she thought, "We'll return, not in chains, but in fire." And in the cold dark between stars, humanity began to remember who they were. Not pets, not slaves, predators. The resistance of ruins. 150 years later, the galaxy still believed humanity broken. The Varn Dominion had scattered them across hundreds of mining colonies, research outposts, and dead-end worlds, useful only for labor or experimentation. Earth had become a fortress palace for the Varn elite, its sky patrolled by silver-armored warships. The last memory of free humanity had faded into myth. But myths can burn. Deep within the Arcturus Rift, far from Varn trade routes and sensor nets, something stirred. A jagged asteroid field, dismissed by the Varn as gravitationally unstable, hid the greatest secret in the galaxy. Refuge 9. The rock itself looked like nothing. A tumble of debris, lifeless and dead. But beneath its surface, hollowed by centuries of stolen labor and sacrifice, lay the crucible of human vengeance. Leah Juno stood on the command deck of the Revenant, humanity's first true warship in over a century. Jet black, angular, and cloaked by dark energy plating, it was a weapon designed not just to kill, but to terrify. "We're ready," came the voice of Echo, the ship's onboard AI. Its tone was calm, cool, forged from the personalities of long-dead human tacticians. Target coordinates locked. The Varn Depot at Zaros 7 is vulnerable. No planetary shield. Minimal defense fleet. Leah nodded. No survivors. No transmissions. The crew around her, all former slaves, moved with quiet precision. Many bore scars from lashes, cybernetic augmentations forced on them by Varn scientists, or the dull stare of someone who had spent years under the boot of alien masters. But now they wore armor. Now they had power. Now they had a fleet. Operation Emberlight began with silence. The Revenant exited its cloak just beyond the moon of Zaros 7. Within seconds, its railguns shredded the orbital station. Dropships deployed EMP drones. Within 8 minutes, the Varn facility lay in flames. Its command center ruptured, its overseers dead. But this time, Leah didn't just destroy. She recorded a message. Standing amid the ruins of the depot, Leah faced the camera, her face half-shadowed by her helmet, her voice like steel. "To the Varn Dominion," she said. "You enslaved us. You shattered our world. But you never broke us. We are the children of Earth, and we have come home." Then, with a signal, she detonated the entire complex. Across the Dominion's fringe systems, panic began to ripple. Small attacks, disappearances, Varn patrols lost without trace, whispered rumors of black ships and human ghosts. High strategist Krektal watched the reports with disgust. "Humans," he clicked to his aides. "Extinct vermin. This is nothing." He ordered increased patrols and summary executions on slave worlds. He laughed when his underlings asked if the attacks were a threat. But deep in the void, aboard a stolen freighter retrofitted with stolen weapons, Leah Juno watched his broadcast and smiled. Let him laugh. The war hadn't even started. They took our home. We'll take their stars. Smoke curled from the ruins of Coal-Tar Prime. Varn ships drifted, lifeless husks torn open by kinetic rounds and plasma blasts. On the planet below, once a prison world for human laborers, liberated workers now stood in stunned silence, staring at the sky as unfamiliar ships hovered above, sleek, black, angular. Human ships. Leah Juno stood atop a shattered Varn statue, the head of some long-dead governor, overlooking the shattered central plaza. Her armor was scorched, her pulse rifle still humming. Behind her, banners unfurled from dropships, a stylized Earth emblem, remade in defiance. Broken chains forming the ring around the globe. "Is the broadcast ready?" she asked. Captain Idris Khan, his face scarred and expression grim, handed her the transmitter. "We're live. Every Varn channel, even their private military frequencies." Leah activated it. Her voice echoed across systems. "This is Commander Leah Juno, daughter of Earth, slave of no one. To every enslaved human across the stars, we are coming. To the Varn, your worlds will burn. Your stars will dim. Your dominion ends now." She cut the transmission. Across 3 systems, liberation strikes began within hours. On Silex 3, former human gladiators in stolen Varn armor stormed a labor camp and used the Overseer's own weapons against them. On Varelia, human saboteurs shut down an entire Varn communications grid with a virus written by a 10-year-old orphan who'd once hacked his collar's pain inhibitors. On Drexer 9, the Revenant emerged from cloak in high orbit, launching precision strikes that reduced the planet's refueling stations to molten slag. It wasn't just war. It was justice delivered by those who had tasted the whip, who remembered their parents' screams, who carved vengeance into every bullet. Back on Coal-Tar Prime, Leah surveyed the wounded, humans too long in chains, blinking in disbelief at the sun they never thought they'd see again. A small girl approached her, eyes wide. "Are you really from Earth?" Leah knelt, taking off her helmet. "Yes," she said, "and so are you." The girl smiled, small, fragile hope in a galaxy that had long forgotten the word. Above them, the Varn fleet regrouped at the outer edge of the sector. Krektal, now elevated to supreme strategist, watched the reports in silence. 23 slave worlds attacked in one cycle. An aide clicked nervously. 14 captured. Communications disrupted. Dominion morale is fracturing. Krektal narrowed his compound eyes. "Then we break them. Begin extermination protocols. Wipe out the humans still under our control. If we can't rule them, we erase them." He turned to the screen, showing Leah's broadcast. "She thinks herself a warrior," he hissed. But she's still the same child we chained. But in that moment, deep inside his mind, the first thread of fear pulled taut. Because she was no longer a child. She was the storm. And Earth's children were coming home, with fire in their eyes and warships at their back. Chains broken, throne shattered. Earth hadn't seen a human foot on its soil in over a century. Now, it trembled beneath the thunder of returning giants. The Revenant pierced through the atmosphere first, followed by a vanguard of 12 black warships, each forged from pain, silence, and rebellion. Their hulls shimmered with stealth plating and vengeance. Their weapons, reverse-engineered Varn tech laced with human ingenuity, glowed bright as stars. Above them, the once invincible Varn orbital ring, an eternal crown around a conquered Earth, shattered into fire and debris. Human railguns sliced through its defenses like wire through flesh. The sky rained steel and death. On the surface, the Varn palace spire erupted in chaos. Inside, Supreme Strategist Krektal stood in his throne chamber, mandibles trembling. His command staff laid dead around him, executed by Leah's infiltration team hours before the assault began. The war had come faster than prophecy, bloodier than fear. She arrived not with a knock, but with an explosion. The chamber doors burst inward as Leah Juno stepped through, clad in scorched armor, a plasma blade humming at her side. Her face bore the soot of 1,000 battles, and the determination of an entire species. Krektal raised his staff, aiming a pulse cannon. "I offered your kind mercy," he snarled. "Chains were your salvation." Leah struck without hesitation. Her blade cut through the staff, then through his chest. As he collapsed, choking on his own alien blood, she leaned in close. "You should have killed us all," she whispered. She turned, stepping over the fallen throne of the Dominion, and activated her comlink. "This is Commander Juno. Earth is ours." Outside, as human soldiers raised their banners over the ruins of old cities, civilians emerged from hiding, descendants of those spared by exile or hidden in underground vaults. They cried, they knelt, they touched the dirt of their homeworld as if in prayer. And above them, the fleet held position. The last chains had been broken. Later, as dawn painted the sky in orange and gold, Leah stood on the rooftop of the old UN building, rebuilt with steel and will. Next to her stood Captain Idris Khan, his arm in a sling, his eyes on the horizon. "They'll come back," he said quietly. "Others like them." She nodded. "Let them." He smiled. "We'll be ready." Behind them, children played in the rubble, laughing, shouting, chasing drones that hovered like fireflies. One girl, no older than Leah had once been, planted a new flag where a Varn statue once stood. Earth had returned, not as a subject, but as a force. A voice echoed through the fleet, broadcast to every liberated world. "They enslaved us in chains. We returned in warships, and we will never kneel again." And in that moment, the stars no longer belonged to empires. They belonged to the children of Earth.